In the world of medicine, where every decision can change lives, your peace of mind is crucial. This is where Pattern steps in. Imagine insurance made simple, fast, and personalized, just for you. With Pattern, you're not just getting disability and life insurance, you're insuring your future and protecting your greatest asset, your income. In the past 10 years, Pattern has transformed the way over 20,000 doctors secure their financial well-being. Discover the simplicity of securing your future at patternlife.com or click the link in the description. We're back for part 2. So if you didn't check out part 1, make sure you listen to that first, as my wife and I find out how to automate short-term rentals, optimize pricing, and beat the competition. Hey, this is Brad Block, host of The Physician's Guide to Doctoring. This is a personal and professional development podcast for physicians where we have experts on the show that try to teach us everything we should have been learning while we were memorizing Krebs cycle.
Well, also, since we just started this venture, we just wanted to have our prices a little bit reduced, our cleaning fee included, just so that we can start getting guests in and getting those reviews, in there. And that actually brings me to my next question. With having your direct booking on your own website, does it make sense for newbies like us to start on Airbnb and VRBO to get those reviews up and that visibility up, and then moving on to direct booking later?
So that's an excellent question. And I always say it's Airbnb and Vrbo's job to bring me a guest for the first time. And then it's my job to keep them coming back for the next 10 stays.
Yeah.
So what I would love in an ideal world for you guys to have all of these amazing people book and have your ideal guest book with you this summer. And then we're doing some great marketing things like capturing their emails with StayFi, getting all of the adults in that party to give us their emails. And then we're going to retarget them and say, hey, we loved hosting you this summer. Come back next summer and you'll be able to get a discount by booking with us directly. Mm-hmm. So we're still getting all of those reviews. We're getting all of the hype on the platforms, but we're getting people to come back and you're able to make more money and charge a premium because they're not even looking at their competition. I know that there's not much, but they're still just coming back to you directly. So it's building your house on your foundation and not relying on somebody else to bring you your business.
Mm-hmm. And StayFi, I think I'm familiar with. That's the software where in order to get the Wi-Fi password, in order to log into the Wi-Fi, you need to put in your email address. So this is how we're getting their email addresses.
Exactly. And so you should be able to grab most email addresses from the person who books. There are ways around it on the platform to get their email address eventually. But the beauty of StayFi is it's actually a hardware and a software piece. So the hardware plugs into the back of your router, like just at a coffee shop or a lot of hospitals where you have to put in your name, your email address, and check a term of service. But you're getting that for every single adult in the property. So you guys have set up your property to host 2 or 3 families, but really one of those families booked it, and then the rest are Venmoing the booking person. But that way you have all of the adults, and one of them may want to come back and stay with you guys and bring their family, other friends, hey, these people are great, but I don't like to travel with their kids, so I'm bringing the other friends. So you can capture all of that and get them to come back and directly market to them with something like StayFi.
Do you have a sign up on the property as well that says, hey, if you'd like to stay with us again, like this is how you can book with us directly and it's, significantly cheaper? Or are you afraid someone's going to screenshot that and send it to Airbnb? I think this is my anxiety coming out, and most people don't think this way.
It is not against the rules. If they book with you, once they get in your property, they are your guest. So you can say whatever the heck you want to in your property. You're not breaking any rules there. So you have it in a physical guidebook. So hey, welcome to our property. These are the ins and outs. We also have a digital guidebook, which our StayFi redirect page, once it redirects, it goes to our digital guidebook. These are the ins and outs of our property. It has YouTube videos of how to work the fire pit and all the other things, which helps keep people from asking a lot of these questions. It's just self-service thing of FAQs. But it also has hey, this is how you book directly. It's a QR code in the back of our welcome book that says, hey, Airbnb charged you a lot of fees. They charged me some fees. Let's cut out the middleman and next time book directly. We also have a way for them to shop their stay. Our properties have been featured, the design has been featured in NBC, USA Today, like all of these great publications. So people like to shop the furniture in my properties, and I earn affiliate income on that, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
If you've invested a lot in your sheets and your bedding, people are like, oh, these sheets are amazing. And you're like, hey, you can get them for yourself. Send them an affiliate link. If your booking revenue is the only place that you are earning money, you're not doing it right. But it's not salesy because they're asking you for that information. There's other ways to leverage this business to make it work for you guys.
They're going to find out that their beds are from IKEA.
Some of them are from West Elm.
There's nothing wrong with that. If they like it, they like it. They're going to be thrilled that they can get it at an affordable price.
So we had one guest message us when they booked asking what else we can do for them for the price. And I said, well, we can send you our guest book in advance so that you can plan your trip accordingly. We have a lot of great tips and, activities in there and restaurants and things so you can plan your stay better.
I took a deep dive in the Facebook groups and everyone said, don't let them stay at your place. Like, that's a red flag. If they ask for a discount off the bat, red flag.
So we declined. And she responded right away and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so disappointed. Please reconsider. Like, I live abroad. She's from Europe. And she's like, this is just something that we do here. And we always ask if there's anything else that people can do for us. We're two families and we just really want to stay at your property. We ended up accepting, and there must have been some sort of a cultural or language barrier.
Or we're going to find out the hard way that we shouldn't have done that.
But the question is, like, what do you do with guests that may be extorting you either for money back or for a good review or asking for things that are beyond your abilities?
This is a bit of a two-part question. First, when somebody asks me that on the platform, we say, thank you so much for reaching out. We would love to host you. We don't currently have any promotions available on this platform. Our business name is MHM Luxury Properties. Feel free to follow us on social, just the word social, as we occasionally run promotions over there. What that does is that sends them over there where it has all of the things, best price when you book directly. It has a little video that talks about, shows the comparison between Airbnb and booking directly so they can get a little bit of a discount. But I also follow that up with, I completely understand if our pricing does not align with your budget for your trip. We would still love to host you, but our prices are firm. It's not saying, well, if you don't have the money to stay, we don't want you. It's just saying, hey, people have different priorities for their trips. And if our pricing doesn't align with your allocated budget for this one, that's okay. We're not a good fit for you. And it gives them the option to continue to book. I don't just decline people. I just say, hey, it is what it is.
No, I did say, we are new at this venture. We just started on Airbnb and our pricing's already reduced for some of our first guests. Our pricing is firm at this reduced rate. I did clarify that. And then she followed it up with another, can you do something else?
Yeah, that is a cultural thing. So with that, if you feel like people are finding issues with your stay or just trying to get money out of you, like a reduced rate, that is actually against Airbnb's terms of service. And if they leave you a review, if you go through that process of having that conversation, always communicate with them in that regard on the platform so you have a clear record of them asking you for monetary compensation. And then if they leave you a bad review, you can dispute that bad review saying, hey, they were vindictive. They asked me for monetary compensation and I didn't agree. And then their review will be removed.
And then Airbnb will take that bad review down.
Yes. So this is part of where I love coaching in our mentorship program. We have this private Slack channel, and my former Airbnb employees, my Summer, Dylan, Chenna, they walk our students through this all the time of hey, if they're saying the air conditioning is out, Airbnb's policy is 10% on the night that was affected. If somebody asks you for more, this is all that Airbnb has deemed that is worth.
Yeah.
And then walking them through that process of okay, they've left me a bad review because they were mad that I didn't give them a night free. Or they said that it was this or that. They're not going to work. This is exactly what you say to Airbnb. This violates this policy, this terms of service. And we have an amazing success rate for people who have just had those kind of less than ideal guest situations getting that taken off.
Yeah. I think, we're slowly coming to the end of the show, but we'd love to ask you some of the fun questions. What are 3 must-haves for short-term rentals? What are the highest ROI amenities? What do you recommend?
Yes, across the board, I'm hesitant to say this because I haven't seen your property, but I am very staunch proponent of having all white bedding. It is the hospitality standard. And I'm also big on splurge versus save, splurge on the things that are close to people's bodies. So splurge on organic cotton linens that are white. We do organic cotton duvets. Everything that people touch are sanitized and clean. I know as a physician, cleanliness is important next to godliness, right? So we are big on sanitation. And so having that white bedding is just a visual cue that something is clean because you can't have stains on it.
At Woolfill Acres, all our sheets are white.
Praise be. Yes, I am a huge proponent of all white sheets. And then I'm also big on having a brand standard. If you guys are wanting to grow beyond just your one property, have the things that make your property unique. Some of the things in my brand standard, my guests know that regardless of the properties of mine that they stay at, they're going to get that same organic cotton bedding. They're going to get a purple mattress. They're super comfortable. They're going to get that. I also put a record player, oddly enough, in all of my properties because it's a amenity box that you can check on Airbnb and Vrbo that push you in the algorithm. It's not that expensive, but people love them because we put different vinyl records in there. It's kind of an off-the-wall thing.
Leading a medical practice is challenging. There can be reimbursement changes, referral slowdowns, staff turnover, or drama. There are obstacles in the way of achieving your goals, or maybe it feels like you've hit a plateau. Who can you turn to for help with the business of managing a medical practice? The Physician Growth Accelerator, a private practice partner that helps you uncover and overcome constraints in your practice. They will check your business vitals, identify the root cause of what's restricting your growth, prescribe what to do about it, and help you achieve it, just like we do with our patients. Imagine your practice, where stress is reduced, profits increase, and both patients and staff, and you are happier. They've been making that vision a reality for over a decade. Isn't it time your practice thrived? Discover how at physiciangrowthaccelerator.com. On all the things that they could possibly have as amenities, record players on that list?
It's literally on the list. It's a box you can check on the platform.
Yeah. We'll check your affiliate link so that you get a little boost
Thank
for it.
you.
Yeah.
And you can check my store. I have an Amazon store where it has all of my must-have items that I literally put in every property.
I checked it out already. I want to get one of those scent diffuser things that you posted. Yes. Love Affair. That's the one.
It's a dupe for Baccarat Rouge, that viral. It smells so good, but it's something that hotels do. Scent marketing is a really big thing. Regardless of the property, it's available on Amazon, but it's one of our signature things of our properties.
Let me ask you. So when you plug it in or when you put it on or whatever, does it just run continuously even when no guests are there, or you can time it?
It's programmed into Honestly, and Honestly helps you.
No, I can't program it in with the property management software, but I have it on a timer to where it has this larger reservoir in it that will keep the scent going. It lasts for 4 or 5 months. So we're not replacing it all the time. It dispenses the scent for the shortest amount of time possible. And then I have the setting to where it's the longest time in between. But I also only have it sent from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So we're not scenting overnight.
All right. Well, we're going to add that to our cart.
I forgot the other part of that question. So that was a few of my favorite things. What was your
the highest ROI amenities? We know that people love a hot tub. They love a hot tub. We have to get a hot tub.
We'll eventually get a hot tub.
Or one of those barrel saunas.
Over-leveraged
you guys,
financially, so we got to wait.
You guys are on the right track. Wellness is huge right now.
Yeah.
So if you could do even a wellness pavilion, and this can be year 2, your year 3.
A wellness pavilion?
You guys have 20 acres. You have so much space. If you did a hot tub with a cold plunge and a barrel sauna.
I do the polar plunge with my friends every year.
We have a pond. You can just go polar plunge.
You just go in the pond. Yeah, it'll be cold in the winter.
Pond. You know, I'm not a cold plunge person, but I just saw one of my favorite short-term rental designers, Summer-Led Designs. They just did a brand new design. It's on their stories today. I know that it's going to air later, but it has the barrel sauna and then the cold plunge right next to it with all these great cafe lights.
Let's start at a lower price point in terms of like, I was thinking more like Jenga. You have to have giant Jenga. That we can do.
Backyard games are a really great way to up level. So anything that you can do to make that outdoor space inviting. So cafe lights, we're looking $100 for a couple of strings of cafe lights. Put can jam is another one, I think. Disc frisbee.
Oh, where you throw it in, there's like an opening in the can and you've got to get it in, in the open.
Giant Jenga, cornhole, horseshoes kind of make me nervous. I don't like throwing heavy metal things. But yeah, the giant Jenga, cornhole, just the general, and then take photos of it. Make sure that you include those in your listing photos.
Sure.
And then hot tip with that is potential guests don't have a really long attention span. So providing that information in what I call a starburst, which is the photo with visual like words on it. So let's say you have a photo of your outdoor space in your listing. It has a starburst. And if your listeners have a short-term rental, I'll give you guys a template link for this. That way they can just see, okay, outdoor games, we have giant Jenga, cornhole, and list that out so they can see it.
All right. Outdoor games, wellness pavilion.
We've got some work to do.
Although we have the backyard games. We've got tons of to the point where Lynn was like, Brad, enough with the back. We don't need another backyard game.
Like we have volleyball, we have basketball, we have all the giant games. Yeah. We have giant
outdoor bowling,
canoe for our pond.
With life vests.
What do you guys do for a welcome gift?
So currently, it's just a local maple syrup that is actually made and bottled and packaged and everything locally. So we're going to be up there for July 4th weekend, and we plan on kind of making the rounds to all the smaller shops because we also want to highlight the small businesses, local businesses. You know, support local is really important to us.
Yeah, we recognize that Airbnb gets like a bad reputation, short-term rental get a bad reputation. Like we're increasing property prices so that people, get driven out of their town. So there's some negatives to it for the town. So we want to do what we can to support the town. And actually one of Lynn's great ideas was actually every time you stay, a percentage of your stay goes towards like a
local food bank and one of the food pantries.
Yeah.
So it is really important to us to give back to the community that we're in. We want them to know that we care about them. We love the area and we want to preserve that charm of the area.
So we're going to expand the welcome package. We just have to go there and figure out what we're going to give other than the local maple syrup, which is what we're doing right now.
I love that you guys want to support local. That's what we do as well. Just a few ideas for that is we partner with a local coffee roaster. I was sharing this with a student yesterday and was what brought it up. So they roast these special for us, but then we just bought a stamp on Etsy with our logo. They stamp these and bag these for us. So all of our guests get that. And then they also get a coffee mug based on the market where they're staying. So each one of our markets has a different custom mug that we have an artist create that for us.
We had that recently, actually, where we had some locally branded mugs that went missing after a couple of days.
But I want to make sure that with you guys, you're putting like a little card explaining what it is. Explain your heart behind supporting local, explain where they can buy more of that. And this is also a great way to leverage social media. If you guys have a social media account for your property, is sharing those local businesses and saying, hey, this is what's happening in the area this week, and resharing that content because it just gets that buzz and you're paying it forward. You're sharing them. They will in return reshare the post and help build that traction for you guys.
Yeah, we do that. I mean, I post a lot in the stories. Twisted Sisters is the new coffee shop that just opened up in Hillsdale, and they have amazing baked goods and sandwiches and delicious coffee. So we'll definitely reach out to them for the coffee idea. I like that a lot. But yeah, it's important for us to promote and help local businesses up there.
I think we have time maybe for one more question. I don't want to end on a downer, but I think we're going to steer in that direction, which is what is like a big mistake pitfall trap that short-term rental owners should make sure they avoid?
Mistakes that short-term rental owners do is settling for good enough. We talk a lot in the short-term rental space about Airbnb bust or market saturation in certain places. And my thing is that's kind of false. It's really just that the Airbnb industry as a whole is professionalizing. And what I like to call people being a hobby host just aren't going to cut it anymore. People like you guys who are thoughtful in their process, we're having our best year yet. And it's because we focus on an elevated guest experience and providing guests that hospitality that we would want in return. And we're not having to drop our prices and compete on price because our product is amazing. Thinking that you can just put up any old property and be successful, that is the biggest mistake I see people make. And it's not focusing on providing that quality experience. And they're just trying to get that quantity and get a big portfolio. That's my biggest thing is don't be a hobby host. That's the biggest mistake you can make. Put your all into it. If you're going to do it well, do it with excellence, and then you'll be just fine.
You're an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, you're not just, listen, if you inherited a house from your parents and you want to make a couple of extra bucks by just putting it up on Airbnb, sure. But don't expect to make a killing because you're competing with people who are really elevating.
That, and I think you're not going to attract the type of guests that you want to host. Because you're going to have to compete on price, lower that price. You're going to get people who want to just come in and trash your place. Like the people who want that great experience, who are willing to pay extra for it. Like they're the people who I found take care of my properties.
And to end on a slightly happier note, though, tell us a little bit about MHM and what your customers get. Do they have to sign up for the whole package? Can you just do like a starter? You help them get set up. What do you offer?
For the coaching program.
I think my biggest thing, whether it's you're a guest of mine at one of my properties or one of my clients, is quality over quantity. So we focus on our 1-year mentorship intensive, which helps people go from really wherever they are, whether they are acquiring their first property or they're an experienced operator, getting them from where they are to where they want to be. And whether that's acquisition, optimizing their systems, anywhere in that, you get us in your business through one-on-one coaching, as well as private Slack channel, all of the things. So there's that, but we also have like little entry item things like our welcome book templates or our cleaning manual, some of those things that you and I mentioned before. If somebody already has a property and they just want to optimize that, they can interact with us that way. So you can find me at Madeleine Raiford-Holland. It's a little bit weird of a spelling, so I'm sure you guys will help me out and put that in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes. It'll be on our socials. And you can also look us up at Wolf Hill Acres, where we will also be posting about this episode.
Yes. Fantastic. Well, thank you for helping those 2 physicians in particular with their homes and helping people with financial independence, and for taking the time to talk to us. This has been extremely enlightening.
Very, very helpful.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to following along on your journey and sharing the post. So good to see you guys.
And if more questions come up, we'll have you on again.
Would love that. So thanks again for having me.
Doctors dedicate our lives to caring for others. It's time someone took care of us. Visit patternlife.com to simplify your path to peace of mind. Patternlife.com, simplifying your insurance journey. Thanks for listening. I have a favor to ask. You listened to the episode until the end, which means you either fell asleep or you really liked the episode. So please share it, or like it, or comment on a social media post, or write us a 5-star review. Something. It would really help me out. And maybe what you learned from this episode can help someone else too. The views expressed in this episode are those of the interviewer and interviewee and don't represent the views of their employer or even their significant other. Even though the magic of podcasting make it sound like I'm talking directly to you. This is not a doctor-patient relationship, and this is not medical advice or financial advice or really any advice. Thank us again for listening to The Physician's Guide to Doctoring.